movie fanatic.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another Movie Fanatic review. Today's review is going to be on the new film Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, directed by Joachim Roning, starring Angelina Jolie. Before we get into the review, please be sure to give this video a like, and be sure to subscribe to the Depressed Ramen Noodles channel. Also, be sure to click on the notification bell so you can keep in the scoop of upcoming videos. Also, check out our other videos on this channel, they're pretty cool. On to the review. For those of you who have not seen the film yet, here's a brief synopsis. Maleficent encounters a conniving queen who hatches a devious plot to destroy the land's fairies. Hoping to stop her, Maleficent joins forces with a seasoned warrior and a group of outcasts to battle the queen and her powerful army. Now that you got a brief synopsis, here's why I gave the film 3 stars. Number 1. Costume design. The costume designer for the film was Ellen Yornick, who also did costumes for The Greatest Showman, Behind the Candelabra, and Twister, to name a few. I believe this film has a shot at being nominated for Best Costume Design, especially when it came to the Queen's outfits. I think the costume designs really brought the film to life. I mean, look at the Queen, she's stunning. Number 2. Switching roles for good versus evil. In a lot of fantasy films, we see a typical villain, and the king and queen are usually on the good side of things. This time, they switched the roles. Rather, Maleficent was the protagonist and the queen was the antagonist, making a complete 360 to the fantasy genre. Of course, you know, this film is about Maleficent, so it'll obviously make her the protagonist, but I think it was nice to see a film that switches those roles.
And cut. Great job, you two. Here's your scripts for the next movie.
Aww, I'm the bad guy again.
Well, I want to be the bad guy.
Want to switch?
Okay.
Number 3, magic bringing the peace. I have seen a lot of films where they will use magic to bring peace, but then a few years later, another raging war will happen, thus breaking the peace. With Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, I could see a clear line of peace when the magic was used. As the film continued more and more, I could get a clear sense when all is said and done. There will be peace and fighting will be no more. I think the film did an exceptional job of this.
I hate you.
I have magic.
Okay, we're cool.
No more fighting?
What is fighting? I do not do that.
Now that we have the good stuff out of the way, I must unfortunately list the reasons why I didn't give the film more than 3 stars. Number 1, the pacing. To me, the pacing seemed a little slow. It took a long time for the climax to happen, and it didn't happen until an hour and 40 minutes in. Keep in mind, the film is only an hour and 58 minutes, so the climax is a big battle between the Moors, where Maleficent and the creatures are from, and the Kingdom of Ulstead. With the ending being only 10 minutes away, it seems too long for the climax to arrive. Number 2, storyline. This is partially my fault as I didn't have much knowledge on the first film coming into this movie. I have seen the first film, but I watched it while coming in and out of anesthesia, so I really only got bits and pieces. To me, a lot of the storyline didn't make much sense. Joe Morgenstern from the Wall Street Journal gave this review. The level of violence in this PG-rated film is dismaying, and the computer-generated battle scenes make no visual or strategic sense. And I have to agree with them. I didn't understand the battle at all. To me, it looked like the Queen knew the creatures who looked like Maleficent would start a war a very long time ago. I mean, she was ready. She was making iron bullets left and right behind the scenes. It also didn't make sense for it to go from a big Game of Thrones-like battle to a happy ending right afterwards. Also, the film is about Maleficent, but she disappears for a good half of the film. It's mostly Aurora and the Queen on screen, so maybe it should have been called Aurora and the Queen of Ulstead? Number 3, too many characters, not enough time. As I mentioned earlier, the film is only an hour and 58 minutes long, and that's not a ton of time to give us information on all of the new characters we see. For example, the pixie who serves the queen, the king, and all the other creatures, we don't get a good backstory as to why the queen is evil. She's just evil, apparently. I believe if they added another 20 minutes and moved the film into the PG-13 category, they would have been able to explain all of the new characters a little bit more. Okay class, today we're going to talk about the characters for Maleficent 2 Mistress of Evil. Now pay attention class. So, you know, you have the main character Maleficent and Aurora, you know, the 2 people from the last movie. And then you have Prince Philip, Queen Ingrid, Gabrielle, Canal, Bora, King John, Percival, Gerda, Thistleweed, Fiddle, Knotgrass, Strike, Udo, the little prickly guy that goes Malika-da-dum, and then you have the mushroom guy, and then you have the trees, and you can't forget about the trees, and then you have the little pixies, and you have the little flowers, and then you have all the knights, and you have the guards, and then you have all the princesses, and all that. Number 4, people. This one has nothing to do with the film, but while my fiance and I were watching the film, some idiot high schoolers who were sitting in the row in front of us but to the left of us, decided to talk, pull out their phones, and Snapchat all their friends while using the flash on their camera every 5 minutes. Are you stupid? Like, for one, it's extremely rude as you're not the only one in the theater and you're disrespecting everyone else who is trying to have a good night. And two, it literally says before the film to please refrain from talking, texting, or using your phones. It was so bad my fiance actually had to go and call the manager into the theater. Again, that has nothing to do with the film. Number 5, making the antagonist too obvious. I understand from the trailers the Queen was going to be the antagonist, but I thought Disney gave us all that info on why she was evil way too early. Just after the dinner scene, we see the Queen go into her secret room where she apparently is making a ton of weapons to kill every fairy known to man. I would have personally liked to see more secrets leading up to why the Queen is evil instead of it just rushing in. Anyways, that is why I gave the film 3 stars. If you checked out this film, and let me know what you think about it, because I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Again, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to Depressed Ramen Noodles. My name is Ace, and this has been your Movie Fanatic Review. Tune in Tuesday for the review of Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho.